Plaintiff Tamika Kaiser is a part-time exotic dancer, and she says she does it because she's a single mom of 3. Tamika claims she met the defendant when she gave him a private dance, and they started dating. However, after they moved in together, the defendant falsely accused her of cheating with her clients. She's suing him today for unpaid rent. Defendant Robert Moore says when he started dating Tamika, he was ecstatic that he had an exotic dancer on his team. But over time, it started to bother him. Robert claims he asked Tamika to stop dancing, but she refused. And he refuses to pay rent because she asked him to move out, so he did.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you.
Well, Your Honor, I am a full-time sales supervisor, but probably for about the last 6 years. I dance, exotic dancer, off and on for the last 6 years. I am a single mother of 3 kids, and just one job isn't getting it. So, I do what I got to do to provide for my family.
All right, do they have upward mobility there? I know you were the sales supervisor at your last job.
No, I still am.
Okay.
I am. I work 2 jobs. Anyway, so back in 2012, I think it was around June 2012, I was working one particular night and Mr. Moore was in the club, and I took him to the back and we did a private dance. He obviously liked it. It was probably a whirlwind relationship between me and him. That night we exchanged numbers. He called the next day. We hung out every day since then. We dated for a couple years. We never lived together before that. Reason being is because Mr. Moore can't keep a job longer than a couple days. So we didn't go as far as the moving in together.
Good, smart.
Yeah, probably the end of 2014. He did get a pretty good job. He was working for probably 5-6 months straight, which was phenomenal for him.
What happened to the job,
well,
to your knowledge?
He quit.
Why?
He doesn't like authority. He doesn't like for people to tell him
Well, I
what
don't
to
know why
do.
he came here today then. Because that's all the judge does is preside as an authority. Let me get some background from you, sir.
Like she said, we dated for a couple years, and I mean, at first I was ecstatic that I had a stripper on my team. Like
Exotic dancer.
It's exotic dancer. I was ecstatic to have an exotic dancer, as a friend. Like she said, we had a nice whirlwind relationship. We hung out, we partied together. I mean, I actually would drive her to work too sometimes. We was real good friends at first, and eventually, like she said, it became a relationship. And I mean, she grew feelings, my feelings grew. I mean, and then about the job situation, it just really, I didn't quit because of the authority. It's just, like, I had my mind set on other things at the time. Like, I was trying to start up my own business, and it more or less probably did at the end of the day end up being I couldn't deal with the authority. And that's probably the truth. But in my eyes...
She says you changed jobs a lot.
Yeah, I did.
Why do you change jobs a lot? Same
I had
reason?
a business plan. I had my dream to own my own business.
Okay. So you would quit the job before getting a little success into your dream?
True. I would, sir. Okay. I mean, I thought I was going to be able to make it by me and word of mouth, and it didn't work out too good.
Nothing wrong with that, but you should always have an opportunity to take care of yourself while pursuing your dream.
You're right,
That's
sir.
a mistake. Some people, they take too much of a risk.
You're right,
They'll
sir.
quit their current job and thinking that dream is going to come true within the next 2 weeks, then the next 4 weeks, then the next 6 weeks. By the 8th week, you're broke.
You're right,
and
sir.
You have no
That's how it
job,
go.
and you don't even have the money to chase the dream anymore.
No more. You're
So
right,
I
sir.
always advise people chase your dream after work or on the weekends.
You're right, sir.
So
You're right.
Until your dream offsets the amount you were making at work.
You're right, sir.
You're not the only one that does that.
You're right.
Is that true, though? Was he chasing the dream?
Yeah, he was chasing.
All right, so he's not just trifling. I always tell young people who want to be rappers and who want to be athletes, first of all, if they're in the 11th grade and they're not on the high school team, they can forget being a pro athlete. So if that's the case, I tell them. But if they're in college and they're doing well and that's what they want to do, I said, well, make sure you get your degree because the odds are so high that you might not. But if it's a guarantee, then go and get your money and get your degree over the summer.
Right.
Then the young rappers, everybody wants to be a rapper when you go and speak to the schools. I say, pursue your dream, but always be prepared because even when you're not rapping anymore, you're gonna have to have a second career. There's only 1 or 2 rappers that can go past 40, and you better have another career. So, that's all I'm saying.
Like you said, sir, I was a risk taker. I wasn't, as you get older, you think about that. But at the time and point, I was so caught up in my dream that I figured that I could make it.
You working now?
Right now, I am working. I actually ended up getting a little job, but I don't know how long.
Why you don't know? Why don't you know how long? We just went through all that. You waste my time with that.
Your Honor, it's where you get those little part-time jobs.
We just went over all that. You talking about you don't know how long you be there.
I was working one particular night and Mr. Moore was in the club and I took him to the back and we did a private dance. He obviously liked it. It was probably a whirlwind relationship between me and him.
Plaintiff Tamika Kaiser says she was an exotic dancer when she started dating the defendant. But after they moved in together, the defendant started falsely accusing her of cheating with her clients.
Go ahead.
Well, in January of 2015, Mr. Moore and I did rent a house together. He promised that he would pay half of the rent, which was he paid $750 and I paid $750. He was working still at that point in time, so I did feel comfortable. He had a job longer than 2 days, so I felt like we were moving to the right track. Shortly after we moved in, he started accusing me of, messing with my clients at work. I never cheated on Mr. Moore. Let's just, straighten that. I never did. He would always try.
He wasn't accusing you prior to moving in?
Yes, here and there. Actually, after we were together for a few months, and he started to catch feelings.
That's part of the territory. You know that.
Yes.
You know that most boyfriends are going to be suspicious or jealous. You say to yourself, well, she was vulnerable to me. She started going with me at work. So is she going to go with somebody else at work or start dating someone else at work? That comes with the territory. And nothing to get jealous about. Just deal with it. I mean, my wife is fine, so that come with the territory. Men hit on her all the time. You think I don't know that? She don't come back and tell me all the time, but believe me, I know these men are hitting on her, want to get to some of that money. She riding around all sharp and looking good, fancy cars. And, they trying to, and pretty. Yeah. You think I don't know any different? Go ahead.
Well, Your Honor, see, the thing is I was willing to quit if he would just have got a job, and kept a job to keep up, what I wasn't going to be making at that job. I had no problem with quitting.
So what part didn't he pay? You say he stopped paying rent at some point?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Which months are you suing him for?
He stopped paying. He moved out August 5th of 2015, and our lease was until January 1st of 2016.
All right, sir, what do you say about that?
If you get to the point where you got your woman, like you said, in the club, it come with the territory, she doing her thing. I asked her a little bit longer to stop stripping, and it never got done. Like, who wanna go take that girl to work? I mean, like I said, I would be there for her, but who wanna go take that girl to work? She's shaking it.
You started out like that. Like I said, this is nothing.
You catch feelings, Your Honor.
This is nothing you finally woke up to.
You catch feelings, Your Honor.
That happened day 1, day 2, day 3. It happened all the way up until the point you stopped paying rent.
But
and
like
you didn't have a problem then.
You catch feelings, though.
Your Honor, he got kicked out of the club for throwing a fit because, some guys were too close.
Now, why would you even go up to the club and watch
catch feelings, Your Honor. Because I felt like if I was there, I wouldn't, none of it would go on, honestly.
You think she would? You don't think she would dance? I would see and the men would pay
right there. But it's different when you take them in the back. I don't see that.
Men, that's what they do. That's the sole reason. I promise you.
Oh, I know, Your Honor.
That they go
I know.
Some of them, maybe 10% might go to socialize or be around whoever the guys, but 90% of them go to look at women scantily dressed, dance in their face. And so, sir, you knew what you were getting into.
Your Honor,
What is your defense to not paying this money?
Your Honor, I was told to get out multiple times at the end of the relationship, so I feel like I don't owe nothing. I don't owe her anything.
And you left because you were told to get out? That's what you're saying?
Yeah, I was.
That's not
All right,
true.
ma'am.
That's not
Did
true.
you
Your
ever
Honor.
tell him to get out?
Your Honor, I was at work when he moved out. Me and him didn't even
In the
speak.
past, had you told him? And if so, how often?
I never told him to move out. I told him to get out a couple times when it was heated, you know, not to move out. Let's just.
Did you tell him to get out during the time frame that he did leave?
Absolutely not. We wouldn't
Within
even
the 2
arguing.
weeks prior?
No, sir.
When was the last time she told you to get out, as you recall?
It was around August 5th. Like, you be told that more than once or twice, like a man gonna get sick of it.
All right, but you knew you had a financial obligation. So if you moved out just because she told you and you got sick of doing it, why did you get sick of paying?
Your Honor, I
Because
could've
you
moved
had
out
a
when he
financial
cheated.
obligation, sir. You can't leave her with that burden because you decided to break the agreement. Judgment for the plaintiff, $3,750. You had no right to break the lease or the agreement that you all had over some falling out. Now, if it became dangerous to either one of you, then yes, you should, and that would be a constructive eviction. But in this instance, none of that happened. Doesn't sound like you had to move out of danger. Judgment for the plaintiff. Have a good day.
I'm gonna move on. I've already moved on, and I hope he does the same.
Same with me. I'm moving on. It's a hassle being with her. Like, it's just ridiculous that I gotta go through this.